Hi, I'm Jessie, a crafter and most of all a knitter, and these are my spring project plans. I have it all written down in my notebook. I just use this to keep track of all of my projects because I'm not a monogamous crafter. Like, I got asked today how many projects I have laying around at home, and I think currently is around a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half. I don't want to talk about it. But let's jump straight in because one of my many projects is socks. I definitely found my sock mojo back in the first quarter of this year, and that has resulted in my best friend getting socks, one of my guy friends getting socks. My godfather also requested socks for his Christmas gift voucher. And yeah, there will be at least three pairs of socks this spring, but there's definitely a fourth one because at the end of last year I bought a Colorwork sock kit for Moomin Mama socks, and my mom is getting those for Mother's Day. So those are on the list. And my best friend is also getting another project because I had drops brushed alpaca silk in my stash for quite a long time. I bought the yarn to pair it with a dark pink boucle yarn that I ordered online. But the I should have waited until the boucle got here because on the website it looked lighter and the drops yarn looked darker on the website. So when they got here, the drops was way lighter and the boucle was way darker. And now I've had 7 balls of the drops yarn in my stash. And I discovered the Trip to Provence sweater on the Drops website and sent it to her, and she really liked it. And now I have the back done, the front is nearly done, and I'm hoping that by like end of next week I will have it fully done so that she can wear it all throughout spring. The next project I have is the Winnie sweater that has been on my to knit list for like a year now. It is by Lily Kate Makes, I think is her name. And I do have the 3.75 millimeter needles now. That was a size I didn't own, which even surprised me. And yeah, I do have one possible yarn for that in stash, but I need to knit up a gauge swatch if I actually like the fabric. Another project, I don't have the yarn for this currently, which is probably why it won't happen this spring, because I do currently want to work on getting my stash down. It is not as big as it has been in the past, but I do definitely want it to be significantly smaller. The Robinson wrap by Florence Miller is not something that is a high priority for me to justify buying new yarn. And I also do not really have the budget currently to get a main yarn and then also a second yarn to knit it with. So maybe spring 2027. A project I've been working on for a couple months but got scared out of because of Yarn Chicken is Shoop the Sheep. I'm really trying to force myself to finally get her done because I really, really want to have this cute crocheted sheep in my apartment. I have most of the pieces done. The main issue is that I didn't realize how much I will need of the joining yarn. And now I probably need to frog the pieces I made for the head and substitute it with a different yarn. So forcing myself to unravel that maybe this weekend. Next up are actually 2 dresses that I'm working on designs for. One of them is my sweater dress. I've already made a video on that and posted it on all of my platforms because I wasn't sure if I want to have it as a sweater or as a sweater dress. But now that I've started doing the waist shaping and everything, I need it as a dress with like a burning passion. It is such a gorgeous fit, and the stripes also fall really nicely. The weather has gotten warmer, which basically got me away from knitting on it because now I'm all like, yeah, let's knit all the t-shirts and tops that I could possibly need this summer. And that also leads me to the second dress, which is a summer dress I started last year. It is roughly based on the June top by Petite Knit. I knit that 2 years ago and just really loved the fit. And last summer, I basically thought, I want this but in dress form, and then started doing calculations and picked a yarn and did all of that. But I do need to get that one out of hibernation because I think I'm like mid upper thigh currently. And I would like to have it like ankle length. But I do also need to check how much yarn I have and if I might need to order more. Continuing with the stuff I want to wear in summer is that I'm teaching a class on the T number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I do already have that finished with Drops Flora, I believe. And I got multiple requests from people who took my classes or are just know me as a knitter to do a class on knitted t-shirts. So that is the one I decided on. Now moving into sewing. On my 2026 bingo card, I did that instead of doing resolutions this year. I put that I want to make 6 pieces of clothing on my sewing machine this year for myself. And I do have the sewing patterns already. I think I cut them. And I do also have fabric in stash for them. Because not only is buying yarn and using yarn separate hobbies, but I also learned that buying fabric and using fabric are 2 different hobbies. So I do want to make myself a dress, which will be like a slip summer dress, and one more skirt, because I did already make like a autumn winter skirt in like a thicker fabric with the pattern. But I do also now want to have it in a lighter fabric weight for spring and summer. Separately to that, a couple of weeks ago I bought a knitting machine and I really would like to get more used to using it and also testing out a couple projects I want to do on there, because at the end of every year we do a sale for the children's hospice in my area. And I thought of using my leftover sock yarn and making that into little project bags that we could also sell. But I do need to do the math on that and make like a draft piece just to test out how I want to do it. One separate thing, as I said, I do craft a lot, and I bought my apartment beginning of last year and I moved in May, and I promised myself I wouldn't do anything major until this year, May. And one of the areas I want to do stuff in is my kitchen, because it is boring as hell. And the upper cabinetry is a boring gray, and I can't stand looking at it any longer. So I decided to get myself window color, or rather, I talked to my parents and asked them if they would give me some window color for Easter. And I also bought some additional colors, and will be making something with this inspiration that I'm putting around myself. And that will be a separate video because I do want to film that process. And talking about my kitchen is also, in winter, I started a little tradition with myself. I crocheted myself a lacework filet crochet curtain for my kitchen, and I just hung up the filet crochet spring curtain. And I'm currently looking for the summer curtain I want to crochet myself. I did break my own yarn buying ban, which is like a really soft yarn buying ban, and bought really gorgeous filet crochet yarn online. And that will be arriving in a couple of days. It's multicolored pastel. And I do have a motif in mind I might want to do with it. But I do need to see if I can find a good chart online, or if I might dabble into charting myself a filet crochet design. I did already trial one for winter with like a snowman and a couple trees in there as a motif. So that might be something in my future as well, but the summer curtain comes first. I think that was a pretty good roundup of all the projects I'm planning. I'm pretty sure I will get derailed in like a couple of weeks by a new project that I really want to do. But this is the rough plan I'm sticking to. And hopefully in 2 to 3 months, I will have at least half of this stuff done. Let me know down in the comments below what you will be making this spring and if any of the projects might be a good option for you as well. See you in the next video. Bye bye.